Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting, another wondrous Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane. We are off here to a 1 vs 1 on a Siu-king. We shall be watching Northwestfreshreborn here fighting for the Soviet Union. And the 4th Guards Mechanized Corps ranging out against Siu-king, fighting for Deutschland, for Germany.
Units on the field.
Rolling out for the 23rd Panzerdivision. And we are noting here commanders, by the way, are Shock Rifle, Shock Army, and Guard Rifle combined arms versus Siu-king with Jaeger Armor Assault Support and Elite Troops. Elite Truppen. Over to Northwestfreshreborn here with the 2 conscripts start. Both players heading for the few points. Nothing deeply out of the ordinary there.
Engineers have secured the sector.
Rapidly spreading out. Grabbing the few point up north. Again, yes, sorry for repeating. Yes, not so much to comment on here. I mean, slightly less box standard sort of choice here between the CERT commander, though I mean, likely we'll see shock rifles since that's been rather popular lately. So we'll of course have to see. We'll of course have to see point there secured. Conscripts moving out. Noting additional grenadier here for Siu-king. Deutsche Soldaten.
Good work, comrades. This now belongs to us.
And a bit of an early right here to sort of swiftly move on. I imagine sort of get up north and take some points there. A bit rare, you see Ura being utilised there, a bit expensive to do just for that, but apparently Northwestfreshreborn has decided it's actually worth it. In this case, I won't necessarily say it's a bad choice, but it's certainly not one I find myself 100% fully agreeing upon as the best choice. But again, if he decides it, I mean, in this case, I'm not going to say it's bad.
We have taken it.
But rapidly advancing here. Germans sticking close to each other. On the right here we do note that Siu-king initially is actually spreading out a bit. That could prove to be a disadvantage. In this case, its grenadiers will only be encountering combat engineers. In that case, things won't be looking that bad. Not engaging up pioneers encountering conscripts. Pioneers rather rapidly pulling up behind heavy cover. The conscripts only have edges to provide a bulwark with. And noting here a second combat engineer squad then for Northwestfreshreborn. That is rather interesting to note there within the initial few moments of the game. He might be home to sort of an early building. Also note here the combat is actually not pulling back. They're sort of trying to play around with the grenadiers. First engagement here, conscripts actually moving around. They should have stood still, I think. Versus the grenadiers, they would have been able to shoot off a lot more bullets, been a lot more accurate. But already here, I mean, the grenadiers are suffering a bit, quite a bit in fact. Bit of a tactical misdecision by Siu-king, allowing Northwestfreshreborn's conscripts sort of do some nasty, unyielding and unpleasant damage. Looks like already here Siu-king has predicted what Northwestfresh is up to. He shall not be deceived. He's quickly shifting force over there to deal with the combat engineers. And there we go, Northwestfreshreborn realizes his fate has failed and pulls back a bit, but looks like still not to be a full retreat here from Northwestfresh. Advancing up the center for the glory of the Soviet peoples. More troops arriving here for Siu-king. Special command done here for Northwestfresh. Going here, and looks like he might also be hitting the fuel pond, even seeing a rather broad advance, sort of again taking advantage of the fact that Siu-king himself is spreading out and pushing back what few left force defenders there were before pushing straight for the fuel. Again, that is one reason you have to be careful about spreading out too much, as the Germans early on you can rather easily risk getting pushed back. And before to continue to hold on, he's very intent on holding the cut-off point here for the munitions. At the same time, though, he's not secured the munitions, so there's a bit of a slight issue there, I would think. Oh, slight disconnect, there we go. Alternating it, rather quick sandbags at the same time. Nice job there, but oh, rifle grenade in the nick of time. Does nothing. That was rather unfortunate. We also know he's actually getting a sniper team out. So that way perhaps harass initially concentrating up position when the a communist squad taking up position in the church. Hoping for the snipers to deliver the wrath of Comrade Stalin from up on high.
Your orders, comrade.
Rapidly securing, rapidly advancing. Well, semi-rapidly anyways. So 3 grenadiers, 1 MG2 so far here for Siu-king. 3 conscripts, 2 uncombatants and a sniper there for Northwestfreshreborn in return. A rather interesting opening, that's for sure. Not something I've seen that often, and we're noting here Field Infirmary going up. Promising that the candidates code the Grenadiers occupied in the centre.
Comrades, we have now installed a field.
And again, sneak up, finishing the sandbags there. Northwestfresh is definitely determined. That is always good to see. And forcing these Grenadiers then to sort of double back to deal with this. Slowing down his advance at the same time. So good job there by Northwestfresh. Grenadiers immediately ending up in a bit of a bad situation, not a lot of cover there. They were up in the open, there we go, shifting up to the other side of the cover. Not looking good here for Siu-king. He will have to dispatch further forces to get this point back here. So, oh, rifle grenade again. It certainly seems to like them, and this time around it actually does something, but not enough. And these Grenadiers will still be in a bit of a sore spot, I think. But no, looks like the rifle grenade might have helped them just sufficiently enough this time around.
Shoot back, comrades!
Snipers here, finally getting ready to kill someone, it would seem. There you go, the conscripts are finally pushed back, but not before denying Siu-king quite a bit of fuel there for a bit of while.
Troops have been lost.
And looks like a unit went down. Some combat engineers have left this earth.
This is our sector now.
You want a sniper?
Snipers now beginning to bleed out Siu-king's infantry forces. Conscripts moving up there, setting up in the ditch. And an MG-42 rolling back with combat engineers to the centre.
Troops are standing by.
Noting here some Stravniki now arriving, so additional infantry arriving for Northwestfreshreborn. Making nice uses of his special rifle command. Noting no taking up here. Oh, there we go. Light Mechanized Company is up for Siu-king now. Certainly a bit surprised he did not get it sooner. Also noting a second Pioneer squad has arrived for the Reich.
Comrade?
We have the upgrade. Contact!
There we go. Flamethrowers up on the Stravniki.
We are as ready as we can be.
And conscripts quickly putting a stop there to those Pioneers. Should have then
What do you have for us?
unstoppable access there to that point and cut off the jumps from the munitions. MG-42 there pulled back. Siu-king getting a bit defensive in the centre.
Well done, comrades.
He is under a lot of pressure here from Northwestfreshreborn. It's definitely making him a bit more cautious at the moment. And certainly then giving Northwestfreshreborn more chance to sort of sneak in and do some damage here and there.
Conscripts here.
Going again here for the fuel point, not bad thinking.
Shock troops can now be
Of
used
course
to
now
crush
he
the
might
enemy.
encounter some slightly more determined resistance than previously.
Your orders,
Comrade. Structure complete.
And also noting he's actually not taking full up, he's just going for a support weapon company here. So we're seeing a double tier 1 start, I suppose you could call it, with both tier 1 buildings. The special command and the support weapon company here. That is very interesting to note. That is also very rare to see. It's a rather interesting strategy here being applied by Northwestfreshreborn. Very interesting. Although we do now see a scout cut up here. Leichte Panzerschwebwagen. 222. Snipers and conscripts doing what they can here, but the scout code definitely quite a bit of an issue, though it probably should be pulling up here. And then perhaps set up proceeding to flank threaten, but no. Northwestfreshreborn pulled back before it can become an issue, I think. Good job there. Good decision in this case, I think. Stravniki in the meanwhile managed to get close to the Grenadiers, and as soon as they can get close, they really do a lot of damage, in particular with the flamethrowers up. And currently they are dominating the Grenadiers with their semi-automatic rifles. And flamethrower Pioneers are arriving. Stravniki needs to return there, actually getting overwhelmed here. Siu-king was able to muster sufficient force then to sort of repel the Stravniki, but he certainly took a bit of damage in the process. And the scout quite quickly rolls up here, take up position behind some trees, but then moves on beyond them.
Our territory is falling into enemy hands.
Pioneers moving up, Pioneers moving down. Field gone on the way, probably to deal with that scout car.
Enemy forces capturing
A bit
supply
of a
sector.
late light to make a nice company, I feel, despite, considering what everything else he went for. Also, mines going up here.
Anti-grenades
Good
now
thinking.
available to all conscripts.
You want a sniper?
Quick follow-up there with anti-tank grenades. Alternating shock rifle infantry has been chosen for Northwestfreshreborn. Combat units immediately suffer the wrath of the Leichte Panzerschwebwagen, with the Grenadiers rapidly following up. And looks like Siu-king is now hoping to repeat the trick that Northwestfresh has inflicted upon him with harassing the field point.
There are no
having
cowards
had
here.
enough. And one little tricky that I could consider was actually laying down an S minefield around the heavy cover
Rifleman
here,
ready.
sort of draw him into it and then hit him with
Engineer
explosives.
The enemy is taking what we have secured.
And there we go, going for the fuel point.
I am needed.
And of course, with this large force on the base, there's going to be an immediate and very nasty response there to the harassment. MD4 being pushed back here by Nice Coach advancing, but pulling up into the cemetery.
Attempting to capture our territory.
S-Man's got up here. I feel that's a bit late here for him. Also, should have tried to late frontally instead of there, but there you go. Pioneers should just retreat, but looks like he's not reacting soon enough. And there we go, Pioneer squad executed on the spot. Panzer and Kanonen mobilizing for Siu-king. Field gun here being pushed back. We're seeing large gun layer force advancing, and Panzer gunners have arrived now as well for Siu-king. Definitely a lot of action going on here. Northwestfresh just constantly harassing the fuel point here, refusing to give up.
This now belongs to the
Rather
people
determined
and
play
workers
there.
of
Also,
the
another thing he just
Soviet
considers at
Union.
the early select sandbags. Oh, barbed wire on the one side of the sandbags.
Enemy contact.
And there you go. Looks like he's trying to sort of then push for the cut-off point. When he's be careful, there's a mine there. Say so. There you go. So we're going to just bit the dust. Ooh, Stavniki actually getting stopped here by the MD4 rather head on. Looks like Northwestfreshreborn not paying attention. And the losses are just gruesome. Nope, satchel charge going off here. Oh dear, looks like it actually got bugged. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Anti-tank mine set to go.
Very unfortunate. Alternating mines and demo charges here.
You need something built?
Northwestfreshreborn keeping up. Time to overhead to Siu-king. Stavniki here might be in trouble there, getting pushed away by the scout car. But definitely a bit on the back foot here. Northwestfreshreborn so far exerting quite good map pressure and map control on his opponent.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
There we go, the Panzer gun is providing some
There is now a field
kind of
hospital.
bulwark. Oh! He actually lost a unit right here to the S-mine field. A small relief there, imagine. For Siu-king, he finally got some kind of squad wipe to sort of alleviate his overall issues.
Ready?
And we are noting he's not taking up yet. He could definitely be in an effect there from some armor pressure. And field gun moving straight into the Panzer gun. It is the Panzer is eyeing a chance here to add a field gun to the German arsenal. Quickly moves in, hoping to wipe mortar firing from nearby the Soviet base. There you go, conscripts intercepting with the sniper team also moving up. Panzer's about to get into a lot of trouble. There we go. And the immediate response is rather immediate of retreat there. As they realise they've stirred up quite the hornet's nest. And in this case, the Soviets' hornet's nest with guns. Again, sneaking up here. I mean, he's really good with the harassment, constantly sneaking in here and there. He's sort of trying to make it hard for Siu-king to sort of lock down his defences in one place. He wants sort of constantly having moving.
It's done.
Scout car waiting
He's a good guy again though. Barbed wire here and some S-mines I think would be quite advantageous for Siu-king, and basically sort of trying to deny the harassment here. Snipers here getting hunted down with the gun. Snipers need to be a bit careful. And Scout here seems to be on the prowl, hoping to hunt down some Russians. Sadly, he's not doing a lot of damage, or at least not a kill, so there's at least managed to reach suspension to one. Field gun barrage in the church. Mortar joining in, more close quarters from Gamgee Force supporting this. Looks like he might be sensing a mine there. That's not a bad spot anyway, so I'm not surprised. Fuel car's going up in Northwestfreshreborn, clearly thinking he's got tons of fuel though. And considering what he's going for, he's probably thinking some pretty serious heavy armour to be thrown onto the field. Taking up here down for Siu-king and the Germans. Roughneck's going off, Scout car doing what he can here. I mean, surprisingly, he didn't drive it up close. I mean, the Scout car really sort of the best thing, sort of driving up close behind the support weapon and then tearing through it. You generally don't get much out of it. You try to fight sort of break. Oh, demo charge going off here. An entire unit lost here to Siu-king. Looks like a pioneer squad. In fact, he's down to having no pioneers right now. Northwestfreshreborn just keeping up that deadly pressure. Just continuing to bleed out Siu-king in the 23rd Panzer Division here. while further adding to his own resources.
Increase. We are losing a
Definitely
sector.
nasty work here.
Grenadiers reporting.
Troops reinforcing,
Ready.
pioneers arriving. Could be expecting a support armor corps maybe. Looks like considering the
Grenadiers
resource stock the weather in terms of fuel.
We're a target!
Interesting to note there's still been no commander choice here for Siu-king. I mean, he really should consider by now what to get.
Our squad has been
I would
under
say.
bravery. He's dead.
Taking infantry fire!
And field gun firing away here. Getting off a nice hit there on the armoured car, quickly forcing Siu-king to pull that away.
Was ist los?
And there we go, the support armor corps is in fact going up. Rather interesting spot there at the base.
We are ready for action.
He might be able to get off a Panzer IV right off the bat, or a flat Panzer, that is what he's thinking maybe. More demo charges up there. Northwestfreshreborn and not relenting in the high explosives department.
Ready for action.
Scout car being rolled back here.
You need something built?
Definitely needs some serious repairs.
Grid point 778604 is taken. Sniper! Sniper firing on
I
us!
sense that one go right by me.
222.
Snipers being pushed back here, sniping away.
Enemy forces are
Oh, he might be able to get with the scout car. Awesome gun. Oh, demo charge. Oh dear, Northwestfreshreborn there. Oh, extending his snipers, and the result was deadly to the Russians, and it's not to the Germans. Grenadiers are veteran 2, scout car veteran 2, shock troops have arrived for Northwestfreshreborn. Some other heavier infantry advancing.
territory is out of contact.
Quick rout grenade there, and rushed off. Points there being secured for the glory of the motherland. Again the fuel point, again the fuel point. I mean, he's utterly relentless, remorseless.
HMG here.
I mean, he's constantly hitting it. I mean, that is really some excellent fuel harassment going on there. And again, it's surprising how Siu-king is not doing much to sort of, counter it in any way. I mean, an S-mine field is generally one of the better counters for harassment, actually, as the Germans. Sadly, nothing of that, nor a bunker or just even battle wide to deny the cover. It's a bit of yes, shock troops now moving in, mowing through the Panzers there with the PP-841s. An excellent submachine gun there in the Second World War. The one here in particular being the drum version, which was actually phased out by the Russians due to some technical issues with the drum magazine in favour of a stick magazine. I believe it was largely the same reason they was also phased out for the American. Oh, another squad wiped out, the Canadian squad. Another squad wiped out. How terrible.
Car awaiting orders.
The scout car there preparing.
Panzer force standing by.
Ja?
Troops reinforcing.
Pioneers, our minesweepers have arrived.
More mines going up. He's definitely keeping up with those as well. Good job there.
Standing by.
Panzer IV though now moving up, and sadly, I mean, Northwestfreshreborn really only had one field gun, he pushed it all the way up there, but again, fuel point is only to push forwards there, and his Siu-king should, by the way, consider getting up something in terms of a commandant. Panzer IV, they're rolling through the cemetery, getting trouble with the scout car running current fire, but this might end up a bit of an anti-tank grenade, and a field gun setting up here by the church entrance.
Ready for orders.
Pack 14, a rather defensive posture.
Schützen here.
And again, sneak up somebody here now with minesweepers taking no chance. At the same time, a new sniper team arrived here for Northwestfreshreborn advances as well. A trip through the countryside with my best friend Yuri.
Pioneers!
Shooting fastest as we go.
Small arms fire!
Requested units.
But, oh, there we go. Northwestfreshreborn mass bit directly there with a support weapon. And we see that Siu-king pounces upon it, sensing weakness and an opportunity to get rid of a threat here to his armor and vehicles. Good job there. But looks like some intended artillery is going in there. Massive shells filled with fiery goodness. And the shock troops are getting actually pinned down while I'm also doing what I can. Scout coming up. Panzer IV now also has a chance to move ahead. Come on, Siu-king. Advance the Panzer IV. Engine damage there, field gun now recruit a bit late there. He should have moved up the Panzer IV. He should have moved it up. That was definitely a missed opportunity right there by Siu-king to deliver a... and mine looks like they somehow died. Popping back here to Northwestfreshreborn. 2 shock trooper squads, 4 conscripts, 1 sniper, 1 mortar. I mean, again, quite the massive force in comparison to his opponent, who's been clearing out with several demo charges. And other sneaky things. Noting that Siu-king has added his own light artillery, there's a Granatenwerfer.
Incendiary artillery is now available.
MD-42 setting up here and then pulling back.
Enemy forces are capturing our supplies.
Looks like he might try and get... Oh, that was close. That was so close. Field gun also taken back. Can the Panzer IV overwhelm it? For the Reich? No. Looks like he's being a bit cautious there. Scout car being repaired. Close to Veteran 3, by the way.
Yes.
He could actually rush it in now, possibly once fully repaired, and knock out those snipers in a few well-placed volleys.
They've opened up on us!
But the pressure keeps up. The pressure keeps up.
We are losing supplies to the enemy.
Unrelenting.
No! Grenade!
Oh, Snow's getting caught here by the Panzer IV and its machine guns. Oh, Northwestfreshreborn is a bit slow. Panzer IV getting the kills, pincer mounted, and other machine guns just shooting through the squishy bastards.
Have been cut.
And there we go, the Panzer IV took out the snipers. And there we go, Northwestfreshreborn, having saved up so much fuel, is now calling in his first of what is likely going to be many IS-2s. I mean, unlike many others, he does seem to have played a bit more strongly with the thought of an IS-2 and actually planned out a slightly more solid base with support from company and Special Revive Command and a fuel cache before sort of playing at it. So, rather interesting there. I mean, again, he's sort of been able to keep up the pressure as well, so that way also minimizing the chance that his opponent might have something more serious to put a stop to his IS-2. I mean, there's clearly been some thought into what Northwestfreshreborn is playing at. And there go the Gunneers just immediately encountering it, and as the first victims, they also took quite a thrashing. At the same time, now with the Panzer IV and some other things, I mean, we are seeing here these states took slight advantage of the field gun. And now the field gun could in fact prove to be an aid for the IS-2, so a slight mistake there. Huge chunk there of the cemetery got blown to bits. Scout come up, once considered getting 08, since that about has a snowball's chance in hell versus the IS-2. Shock to make a move there, there's the Panzer Grenadiers up north. Sturmgewehrs versus the PB-841s. And there you go. Concussion grenade.
Fire incoming!
Panzer Grenadiers here fighting. Panzer warming up, Scout car needs to get away. Ah, scheisse! And IS-2 here basically bouncing every shot from the Pak-40 and the Panzer IV. But still wisely pulling back, perhaps realizing it might not keep doing that if it keeps hanging around.
Soldiers ready. Da, tovarish.
Engineer standing by.
Replacements have
Bit of
arrived.
troops hanging about there. Pioneers. I'm not entirely sure why he's sneaking in the Pioneers. He probably ought to know what's waiting for him. And he's not a hug and some kisses from Northwestfreshreborn. He's definitely going to need more to sort of take on this, and particularly needs to get rid of that field gun if he wants to have some kind of armoured chance. Because this is going to be quite a nasty combination. But seeing some Gunneers sneaking from the north, also noting no upgrades on the Gunneers, no leichte Maschinengewehr. Maschinengewehr, not Maschinen.
Heavy tank here.
There we go. Shock troops take up position there, spotting for the IS-2. Nice little tactic there. Probably also sort of spot for any pack faulties or any nastiness.
Defend this territory!
IS-2.
Order incoming!
Shock troops there, covering the flank. Good job. There we go. Pak-40 opening on the IS-2. Finally a shot gets through. Finally a shot gets through. Second shot though bounces. Panzer IV covering the flank here versus Conscript advancing. And there he goes, charging up his house, firing into the mortar crew right next to the building. Oh, rather fiendish work right there by Northwestfreshreborn. Looks like the mortar crew will go down a horrible hole death. Assault troops moving in, flamethrowers going up, firing right at the Pak-40, Panzer IV, just blasting round in turn. Veterans, you won. Target weak point. Helmut targets the weak point. Ah, scheisse, he was too slow. And the Pack 40 crew got eliminated. Panther 4, they're doing this well. IS-2 down to less than half health, but the Panther 4 needs to fall back. The main gun is destroyed. Wrecked like a piece of tin. Panther fast flying through there, downing the engine, but there's nothing there to really pursue them with. The Grenadiers taking massive casualties there to the IS-2s. 122mm shells. Panther is now with Panther strikes as well. Shock 2's finding cover. Grenade going down the path there. He might want to pop smoke actually to sort of cover. To retreat with as well. But no, Panther flies out. Shock 2's back, get wiped out for their own armor. But so far the IS-2 has somehow managed not to murder its own. Panther strikes failed to penetrate. Oh, Shock 2's went down. Both Shock 2 squads now wiped out. A tragic loss for the Soviet Union, losing some of its best assault troops. And there we go. A Tiger Ace has assaulted as a response to this. I can't help but feel this is a bit lazy by Siu-king. I mean, I bet he didn't use a command until now, 26 minutes in again. That's not good. That rather means strategically you're a bit behind. And I can only say I always feel a bit disappointed when you just go elite troops for the ace. Then, yeah, I'm just disappointed. I definitely feel like Siu-king could have done a lot better than that and used it a bit more actively rather than reactively. I mean, he's still going to do him some good, but at the same time, he rather is sort of being behind on things. In particular, since again we see a clearer strategy here, and soon with several IS-2s then sort of overwhelm the IS-2 of the Tiger Ace, the ace might suddenly not be as great as he hoped it to be. So some thoughts there. And again, pushing for the fuel point. I mean, he's utterly at it every time. The ace barges into the village like an autocarriers or Vietnam. He just barges through everything and murders everything. Field gun also coming under fire there from the ace and its 88mm gun and its expert crew. Oh, country moving up. Ace needs to fall back.
We are bleeding, comrade.
Point there could have been secured, I think. Map control though so far rather being to the advantage still of Northwestfreshreborn. I mean, he's really keeping at it. Big anti-tank grenade there failing to penetrate. The mighty frontal armor there with their Panzerkampfwagen 4. Close to the IS-2 and the IS-2 up here by the way. No, he pulled that quite far away. So get repaired. Not bad thinking there. Good repair and maintenance tactics by Northwestfreshreborn. Commendable.
Yes, comrade. We are taking losses.
Ace taking a few good shots here. I do believe he actually has a bulletin for that actually allows it to see farther. Little fun fact.
IS-2 here.
Panzer 4 here, very close to Victory 2. Pack 40 here could do with some repairs and a new pair of hands.
More units are here.
And there you go, second IS-2 arrives. To add further heavy armor to the might of the Soviet armored forces.
Squad at full strength. Standing by.
IS-2 here.
Panzer 4 here rolling about a bit. Grenadiers up here still. Noting no upgrades for the Grenadiers, nothing that could give them a slight edge there versus the infantry. Which is a bit sad. One thing though he should do is coordinate the two ISOs. I don't think he should be saying them one at a time here versus the ace and other things. He should just really sort of aim to... Oh, telemines. Lovely. That looked like the Yak might be there. Panzer 4 waiting up here. Looks like he's hoping to defend the point there. I mean, he's really laying down heavily on all 3 points here. A bit of a chance of overextension. I suppose he's hoping the Panzer, particularly the Tiger Ace, can sort of provide both as a strong point in the centre, but also quick reactionary measure to any sort of attempt at the other points here. So it's a bit of an interesting approach here we're seeing from Siu-king. It could work, but it could also rather severely backfire and fighting in the arse. There, guys, too. Bit of a reckless advance again. He should have more in. But there you go. Guess the MD crew. Good job. Collapses the house in the process. Field gun firing support here, venturing one. There you go, Pack 40, Tiger Ace firing away. IS-2 might want to consider pulling back here in the face of such firepower. It's actually time for the mid-game analysis. The current situation is finally Northwestfreshreborn is getting pushed a bit back. I mean, he's got less than 50% of the map now, which is actually been some time since we've had that kind of state for him, if ever. Of course, we've got a Tiger Ace and a Panzer IV veteran, close to veteran 2, actually pressuring him. But at the same time, he's also got 2 IS-2 tanks infantry suffering a bit of beating. He was a bit reckless here and there, which allowed Mr. Siu-king to sort of get in a jackboot here and there and inflict some rather uncomfortable losses. But things are far from over. I mean, another IS-2 could always be on the horizon. A KV-8 could as well. I mean, there's definitely a few possibilities there. But right now, the main priority is getting that Tiger Ace out of the picture. And the largest and most easiest way of doing that is basically focus up the 2 IS-2s, attack from different angles, and basically knock it out that way through sheer numbers and sheer force. He could probably overcome, and particularly had the field gun then functioning in support as well of his other forces. I mean, that way he could probably overwhelm the rest and basically force Siu-king out of that position without suffering necessarily too heavy losses. So there are definitely some forces that you know, keep up the pressure, keep up that excellent harassment to Northwestfreshreborn, keep it up. As for Siu-king, there are definitely some few issues there. I mean, he's got the Tiger Ace, he's got a Panzer IV that's there, but, you know, at the same time he's also suffered a bit. He's the one that's been suffering the most, I think, out of the two. And he should definitely consider investing in some more armour. A Stu, for example, might not be a bad idea to support his Tiger Ace, or another Panzer IV, or something else. He definitely, though, needs to be a bit careful, since things could easily go ugly, and he definitely needs to ensure he doesn't get too reckless with the Ace, since there are quite a few heavy tanks and other things around, which could easily make things rather uncomfortable for the Ace. So that's definitely something to keep in mind there as well. But as we turn to the fight, zu die Kampf! And there we go, conscripts find themselves being slowly interred there on the cemetery ground, one by one. Mortar here continuing to find the fog coming up, the anti-tank grenade, and there we go, fails to penetrate. Fuga finding a way, Panzer IV moving into flank, be careful. Forcing, guys, it going to be providing support there, good job there. Getting ever closer to the mine. Oh, mine went off! Veteran 2 for the Panzer IV, incendiary going down, Panzer IV, zurück for, ow! IS-2 fight straight into it, cooking it up. There we go, already one disastrous blow there to Siu-king, just as things were beginning to look his way. Northwestfreshreborn was quick to put a stop to that, since Siu-king made one mistake. At least didn't quite expect Northwestfreshreborn to be so adept at things and basically hit him hard. So now he's down to just 1 ace. Not a lot of resources, so he can't replace any armoured losses right away, and he's not looking to go in the repairing stuff department though. He's got elite troops. He should strongly consider upgrading one of those pioneers there with troop training, thus getting the veteran fleet, thus speeding up the repairs. I mean, really, if you go for a Tiger Ace, train some pioneers. I mean, even if you don't go for a Tiger Ace, train some pioneers. I mean, it really is absolutely great stuff there. Mortar duel right there, and there we go. I assume moving up, getting off a nice hit, then he's covered around the Ace and the Pack 40. There we go, though, 2 shots managed to penetrate, taking this 2 down to half health, others 2 being repaired. Siu-king once more finding himself on the defensive. He's not quite having any luck in that department now, is he?
The enemy is taking our territory.
So even with the might of an Ace, he's finding himself quite handsomely contained by Northwestfreshreborn. Pack 40 here, rolling through the ditch, hoping not to end up dead in a ditch. Also, one thing I could consider maybe as an idea here for Northwestfreshreborn is actually going for a mechanized armor company here and getting some S-85 to then support the IS-2s. I mean, that would also be a nice idea with some longer range firepower, so it'll add in further pressure to the Ace. Or maybe I could choose to provide some artillery support to do up the Pack 40. I mean, there's a few faults there. But it looks like he's very insistent on a heavy approach here. Ace still gets off another nice hit there. Veteran on the field gun, Ace down to half health.
sector.
I mean, now with the IS-2s in that condition, he might actually have a chance of pushing through the ace, but no, he's still on the defensive here. Bit on the back foot. Forces falling back here, so Germans are making a bit more push there. Both Panzer squadrons now, by the way, equipped here with Panzer Flex, the Raketen Panzerbüchse.
The enemy has broken our supply lines.
Tiger ready.
Both Pioneer squads rapidly trying to get that ace in mint condition once more.
Territory taken. Push on.
Not quite there yet, and looks like a KV-8 is now being added to help perhaps deal with the Panzergrenadiers or the Pak-40, and now best maybe just soaking up some shots. They could do that as well. We'll of course have to see both those teams close to being ready for combat against the Hitler-like foe.
Tiger.
The ace advances through the village ruins, and there you go. One engineer goes down. Now's the time to push. Get the other IS-2 up on the flank. Get it up there. Bother. A bit slow there. Crew on the field gone down. Now seems to be pushing in, but a bit late, a bit uncoordinated, a bit unfortunate.
Forces are securing
And looks like
our
Siu-king is
territory.
finally getting off another harassment there on the fuel point, this time succeeding with greater success than previously. And KV-8 taking it there, looks like, is he pushing in anyways now? A bit more disjointed though. And here's the slight problem, the KV-8 basically going in like that first ends up being a huge target. And quickly focus down here, that was a mistake. They should have sent everything else at the same time, thus forcing Siu-king to, you know, either spread sort of try to get one something, but at the same time now this much more manageable. It's right there, no mistake there, and there got IS-2 down, abandoned even. Field gun needs to stop moving. IS-2 opening, failing to penetrate. Why didn't he stop the field gun? Popping smoke there, even. Shot failed to hit. Definitely a few mistakes here that actually allows the Tiger Ace to get away. Bit unfortunate there, bit unfortunate. But looks like Northwestfreshreborn is not giving up. He wants vengeance for the comrade who died. And Pak-40 there failed to penetrate the rear of the IS-2. Ace gets off another hit. And there we go. Oh, engine destroyed. Or damaged anyways. IS-2 might get off another hit. They're venturing too. Can he do it? And there we go. But Panzerstreck appearing there. Clears it out. And there we go. Northwestfreshreborn realizing he needs to destroy it so it doesn't fall into his opponent's hands. A large sacrifice for the field gun crew. Nice thinking there. Nice thinking there. It would have been very unfortunate expended all those resources again. I feel like it could have been avoided a bit. But you know, at least end up with handing over an IS-2 and return his opponent. So that was a small save right there enacted by Northwestfreshreborn.
We are losing a sector.
But we do see that his opponent, Siu-king, now has actually quite a force. Panzer IV on the way, Panzerkampfwagen 4.
Yes?
Still no light machine guns in the Gewehr for the Fleet and Grenadiers. I mean, that's a bit lacking.
The enemy is taking our territory.
With another KV-8 rolling out here for the Soviet Union. Ready to torch some fascists. There we go, Panzer Grenadiers run off.
Panzer IV.
And the Pak-40 crew is dead. Quite
Grenadiers
dead.
reporting.
I definitely need to be careful there, since that KV-8 could easily prove to be a massive issue. Now there's very little to stop it at the moment.
What do you need?
We're taking fire!
Grenadiers forced away. Mortar crew.
Moderons on our position!
There we go, Panzerstreck's connecting with the KV-8. KV-8 moving up, Panzer IV some far way away. Need to pull back here. Probably wishes now he's caught the pack there. Oh, he lost the Panzer Grenadier squad. I mentioned the Panzer Grenadier squad lost to the... Oh! Tellermine there, went off.
Enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
A small victory there for Siu-king, but still the losses are heavy. The losses are heavy. Pioneers moving in.
Ja?
Pioneers firing burst to the combat engineers, point having secured. Few cash conscripts advancing. Oh, Panzer, careful with the Panzer IV, careful! Panzer IV has to fall back here.
The enemy has engaged us!
Standing by.
Blasting away the machine guns and main gun, but already a bit of trouble with the damaged engine. And grenades being held by conscripts. We are seeing them all forced now arriving to sort of try and support the centre here, but Siu-king definitely needs to get moving. Another anti-tank grenade and getting further engine damage. In fact, now heavy engine damage. Pioneers will now desperately be needed again. Some training for them would be good thinking.
Securing our territory.
Taking indirect fire! It's a mortar!
The sector has been cut off.
Grenadiers, pioneers ready for
More Panzer here on the way for Siu-king and the 23rd Panzer Division. Veteran 3 mortar here providing some nice pressure as well.
That's
Watch for
everyone.
counterattack.
Grenadiers ready.
New unit has arrived.
And another IS-2 here. That's the third IS-2.
Secured the sector.
Quite a bit of heavy armour from Northwestfreshreborn. And now his fuel reserves, previously so deep and fat, are now beginning to look a lot leaner. Popping back here to Northwestfreshreborn's perspective. In fact, now he's a bit depleted here. Again, there's a few tactical mistakes with the IS-2s and other things here in the centre versus the Tiger Gates rather cost him. But at the same time, things are not completely out here. It's not game over yet. He's still got the one IS-2, of course, and some other things, but now the margin for error is becoming less and less. Up to advance here, Panther 4, ooh, fires up, fires at the side, doesn't quite penetrate. Nasty hit there from the IS-2, Panther 4 rolls back. The few Panzers here holding up in the nearby village building. Next, more trying going down, Panzer's moving in. Panther 4 desperately needs to get our way. Also on the accident, Tellermine up from again more Tellermines. That's good, that's good. But the Panther 4 has seen better days. Let's just keep it at that. Much, much better days. And the Pioneers are immediately being rushed forwards. Understandably enough.
Okay, that's the last one.
Contact with the enemy!
IS-2 moving forward.
Yes.
We are bleeding, comrade! Grenade! Your command?
Grenadiers versus conscripts. IS-2 lining up there for a nice shot, and
For the Rajina!
that was unpleasant for the Germans. Less so for the Russians.
Squad, that's
Enemy forces are capturing our
There we go.
supplies.
Striking back up the north. Siu-king seems to be sort of getting into zone harassment. Whip up. Get up there, mate. It looks like he's actually now moving on to heavy Panzer Corps, perhaps thinking he needs a Panzer or something like. Oh! And this got wiped out. That could have gone better. Now we go. Veterans 1 as the Panzer Force. One shot penetrates the front along there. And that was rather close.
It is now under our control.
But we are seeing the surge making good progress once more, really pushing back the Germans down in territory. And there we go, heavy Panzer Corps is up now. Just Tellermine went off there, almost knocking out the IS-2. The Tellermine does quite a bit of damage actually. I believe we're talking 600 points. So I mean, IS-2 hitting a Tellermine will actually suffer quite some drastic damage. So little fun fact there.
Enemy forces are attempting to capture our territory.
Taking fucking fire!
IS-2 here.
Desperately trying to get it out of there.
Units on the field.
With another KV-8 advancing. And still some time away. I mean, if you've got enough fuel cash, you might actually been looking a lot better in that department. But again, let's see how this goes.
Not one step back.
Conscripts out in the open versus the veterans League Grenadier Squad. That's not going to end well for the Russians. Not going to end well. Troops reinforcing, troops mobilizing, points advance 2 and taken.
You have orders. Heavy tanks.
KV-8, MG-42, taken from the dead hands of some fascists. So quite a bit away. He needs to get some more fuel somehow. Otherwise, I mean, the heavy Panzer Corps gambit might as well just got more Panzer forces from schools.
Access to KV-8 flamethrower tanks.
KV-8 now attacked with a bit on top of the Panzer IV. Panzer IV might have a nice chance of wiping it out. But looks like in this case the KV-8 successfully escapes.
The enemy is reduced to 200 points.
And just going to speed this up. This is a bit of a longer match, to be honest.
The enemy has taken our supply sector.
Because there's not really a lot happening here.
Your predecessor
Both sides
died
a bit
a
warmed up,
hero,
sort of
man,
trying to build up for
comrades.
some fresh aggression. KV moving up there, incendiary round or artillery on the victory point in the centre. KV-8 bounces another shot there from the Panzer IV. Quite a few shots have been bounced. There you go, finally gets one food gun. He's actually trying to panzer fast it, but rather ran into the fire to do so. And of course, fire from the KV-8 as well. That was perhaps not the wisest of the decisions there, Friedrich. Going for the fuel point again, not something that Siu-king can afford. And again, there's been very to no effort here, very little to no effort, in actually defending this. Again, I do think that could have been one of his major mistakes. And a demo charge down there, maybe. Oh,
Awaiting command.
maybe a more strike out of the way though. Someone's pretty dead.
Incendiary artillery barrage ready to fire.
You're bleeding,
Out of the way. Northwestfreshreborn having done more to defend his viewpoint than
this ground
his
for the
opponent.
people.
Panzer IV getting close to victory 2. Panzer's nearby with the puncher shapes. Maybe the conscripts are not having a nice day, but we do see a Molotov. Still some time off there from a Panther. There we go, looks like counter-offensive one being launched in. KV-8 advancing. IS-2 following up, Panther IV doing what it can. Nope, Panzer shapes nearby, come on, Siu-king. Provide some support, some logistics. And there you go. IS-2 fires, veteran 2. And looks like the Panther might finally be on the way. And there we go, KV-8 down, needs to pop smoke on that Panzer IV. Nebo. There we go, a bit late, Panthers need to get out of there, getting hit by incendiary rounds. They probably will go down retreat though. Panzer IV needs to keep pulling back, keep pulling back. That was definitely a bit of a close shave there for Siu-king.
We have it.
With this, at least he still has a chance of getting back, but if he'd lost that Panzer IV there, that might definitely not have been looking very favourable there then to the 23rd Panzer Division. And there we go, Panzerkampfwagen 5, Panzer, reporting for duty.
The enemy is taking what we have secured. Incendiary artillery is now available.
Flying away then the conscripts. Conscripts rush off, need to get back some of those victory points. Panther moving up. Pinderman machine gun on that thing as well.
Enemy
Good.
forces are neutralizing a sector.
And going for that one as well with some plucky grenades. Still no light machine guns. I'm rather disappointed in that.
Engage!
And he needs to get a lot of pioneers on that Panzer IV as well soon. And still no sign of troop training on those either. Do think you're going to benefit a bit. There we go. Stun grenade inside the building. Clearing out a few of the conscripts actually.
IS-2.
But the faster he can get that Panzer IV repaired, he might have a chance then with the Panther knocking out the IS-2. Then again, looks like the fourth one is about to arrive. Might as well speed things up again, because again looks like there'll be a bit of lack of activity, a bit passiveness. Again moving up there towards the point. Oh, another demo charge! 9! I mean, Northwestfreshreborn really just absolutely vicious with those. And the Panthers there failing their fed-on assault versus the IS-2. I mean, generally you should be careful with that. And there we go, 2 IS-2s, 1 Panther. That's not going to end well for the Panther.
Our territory is falling into enemy hands.
IS-2 here.
Ah, Panther exposing its rear to the IS-2.
Replacements have arrived.
That's no
IS-2
good.
heavy tanks are now available to crush the enemy.
Locked up that squad.
And looks like
Yes, comrade.
that might have been a precision strike. They're wiping out another score either way. Siu-king's forces are pretty decimated now. Getting a little pack now. I think it's a bit late for a second pack.
You need something?
Still nothing in that.
A wedge in our lines.
GG. Looks like he's feeling a bit confident there. I mean, obviously I can't blame him.
We are losing a sector.
But usually you wait for your opponent to say GG first in those cases.
We need orders.
So yeah, that is pretty much GG.
We are down to 75 points.
It doesn't really have much left that can stop this. Another telemine though. Panther down. Veteran 2 for that IS-2.
We have lost a Panzer.
Panther 4 doing nothing. There you go, pack down. IS-2 went down, IS-2 went down.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
Ended down to that Panzer 4. Oh well, that'll just speed this up. I mean, this is pretty much just the clean-up job now. But even then, nothing impressive either.
The situation is becoming critical. We have only 15 points remaining. We need mortar fire. We are down to 25 points.
Seems like he might have just transferred in or something anyways. Go, Panther 4 down, and game over there. A victory for Northwestfreshreborn, well earned. He overall played a much more strategically thorough game. It was the only thing I think that pushed the game up that far, with a few tactical missed decisions there with his IS-2s versus that Tiger Ace. I think had he played just a bit more sharper, he probably could have had this over by the 30 to 40 minute mark, but you know, that's just my opinion. Overall, otherwise well played. I mean, he had the greater plan in the longer perspective. Fuelcast, everything was planned out to a much greater extent, where Siu-king clearly was reacting a lot more, and he overall made a lot less good use of his commando. It was basically only this bit, this. There was no real further thought into it, no upgrades for his grenadiers, no troop training, and his armor usage was also a bit loose. Also the way he sort of overextended rather quickly too many often. I mean, sometimes it allowed him sort of grab a bit of extra territory, but at the same time it also left him very vulnerable then to Northwestfreshreborn's pushes. But again, it was overall some of the lacks then sort of strategic long-term planning that hurt him the most. And even a Tiger Ace can't save you from that if your opponent is a solid player like here. So, hopefully you learned something from this match. Of course, I also hope you enjoyed this and my commentary. If you did, why not subscribe or tell your friends? If not, send in a review and provide some feedback in the comments, of course. You're always free to provide feedback. I mean, you say, hey, Dane, this is awesome. But, you know, just a few comments there. Anyways, see you all wonderful people tomorrow.